So, hello everybody, welcome back to our CMA classes. So, this is Swami Santosh as CMA finalist, and today we are going to start the another chapter of our corporate and economic law, which is going to be Takeover Code. Okay. So, first of all, we have to understand what is this, है ना? So, yes, let's get started this chapter now. First thing, Takeover Code, which is the SEBI regulation, which is as per the SEBI regulation. There are two things mentioned there. First is the substantial acquisition of share and second is of the takeover. Okay. Now I'm saying little bit more about takeover. Okay, how it's done, what is some special thing which is mentioned here. Okay. First, where the acquirer is acquiring, okay, which take over, okay, what the targeting company. Okay. So there are one more thing which is mentioned with acquire this particular one more person, okay, which is PAC. PAC stands for here person acting in concern. Okay, when the acquirer with this PAC is going to take over the targeting company either by SAS. Now SAS, this is the same thing, the substantial acquisition of share, or by control. Okay, by two things they are going to take over. Okay, first is SAS, second is control. Control of what? The majority are of the director is appointed by whom? By the acquirers. Okay, or by control by the management. I mean, they are taking over the control over the management, or policies. Okay, control can be also possible by making policies. Okay, so if control is by the acquirer, okay, through takeover, okay, of whom? Of the targeting company. Okay, so first thing, the acquirer with PAC. PAC means person acting concern. अच्छा, I'll tell you what is the meaning of PAC. थोड़ा सा सबरो रखते हैं, ठीक है? So here the acquirer with PAC is going to take over the targeting company through what? SAS. सेकेंड दी कंट्रोल बाय डायरेक्टर्स को अपॉइंट कर लिया भैया. सेकेंड मैनेजमेंट को थोड़ा कंट्रोल कर लेते हैं या पॉलिसीज़ को थोड़ा बना लेते हैं ना. सो दैट इज़ व्हाट कंट्रोल मीन्स हियर. ठीक है. सो लेट्स गो फॉर फर्स्ट, व्हाट इज़ द मीनिंग ऑफ PAC हियर. As we know, person acting concern, I say PAC. ठीक है. Now let's go in depth. PAC का मतलब, PAC comprise person who persuade to agreement or understanding, whether by formal or informal. ठीक है. Cooperate to obtain or consolidate control of a company or to frustrate the successful outcome of an offer for the company. Basically there is some agreement between the company and these people, ठीक है, for the success of the company, which success outcome we can say. ठीक है. So they are further divided into two parts. First is general category. Second, some people will say that they are the deemed PAC. Okay, like we can say that like holding companies and all, ठीक है, or the management and all. ठीक है. So let's go for the general category first. General category says people who have the common objective or purpose of acquiring shares or voting rights in the company. This means the about the general. Okay, general category. Let's go for the second part, the deemed PAC category. Deemed PAC category consists of certain entities and the individual who are presumed to be acting in concerns such as holding company under the same management and an alternative investment fund, and its sponsor हो गया, ट्रस्टी हो गया, ट्रस्टी कंपनी हो गया, and the manager हो गए. ठीक है. And an investment company or a fund and any person with significant interest in it. So these are the people, these specific people would be known as the deemed PAC category. ठीक है. We'll say they are the deemed PACs. Okay. So when we know, first अब दोबारा definition पे जाते हैं. The definition is saying when the acquirer with this PAC either by the general PAC or by the deemed PAC, ठीक है, is going to take over the targeting company. ठीक है. Targeting company, how they are going to take over that? By the SAS or by the controlling. ठीक है. Controlling भी पता है अब अपने को, SAS भी पता है अपने को. Okay, this is what they are saying about the takeover code. अब थोड़ा सा definition. Let's go for the definition now. ठीक है. The term takeover refers to acquisition of a company by the another company. Okay. The takeover is an acquisition of a share carrying voting right in company in order to gain control over the management of the company, right? Then it take place when an individual or a group of individual or a company acquires control over the asset of a company either by the acquiring majority of its share or by obtaining control of the management of the business and affair of the business. This is what we read so far, ठीक है? सेम थिंग बोल रहे हैं जो कि वी हैव रेड, ठीक है, जो कि मैंने आई ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन यू. नेक्स्ट दे आर सम ऑफ द टाइप्स ऑफ टेक ओवर. अच्छा, दे इज सम डिस्क्लोजर विच इज़ टू बी मेड बाय दी. अच्छा, यू हैव टू टेल मी, दिस इज क्वेश्चन टू यू फर्स्ट, ठीक है. दे डिस्क्लोजर इज टू बी मेड बाय आइदर बोथ ऑफ द कंपनी और एनी ऑफ वन कंपनी. आई मीन एक्वायरर कंपनी, targeting company, both of them or either any of them, ठीक है. So as I told you, disclosure is to be done, ठीक है, but not by the targeting company, only by the acquirer company with that PAC. इतनी बात समझ में आई है ना? हाँ जी. So इतना was okay. Now they are some of the types of takeover. First, friendly takeover, hostile takeover, bailout takeover, ठीक है, vertical takeover, horizontal takeover, and with that there is one more, conglomerate, ठीक है. So yes, one by one we are going to understand this, the meaning of these types of takeover. As a friendly name says, दोस्त, दोस्ताना, ठीक है. So with friendship से ही that takeover happens, ठीक है, मतलब as per your will, ठीक है, as per the friendship of us, कुछ भी बोल लो, ठीक है, which means with your will, with your consent, that takeover is going to happen. Okay, so yes, takeover, takeover, friendly takeover means a takeover done with the consent of whom? The BOD. So first thing, as I told you, consent is given here, ठीक है, बिल्कुल राजी राजी कर दिया भैया, कोई परेशानी नहीं है यहाँ पे. So the consent of whom? The BOD, ठीक है, of both the parties, acquirer and the targeting company. सीधी बात है, simple है ना? Okay. In friendly takeover, there is an agreement between whom? The management of two companies through negotiation, and takeover bid may be with the consent of the majority or all the shareholders of the target company. This kind of takeover is done through negotiation between two groups. Therefore, it is also known as, अच्छा ये MCQ वाला पार्ट नहीं हो सकता क्या? Also known as negotiated takeover, ठीक है. So the friendly takeover is also known as the negotiated takeover. Now comes the second takeover, which is hostile takeover, which is done not as per our will, ठीक है. For example, let's take a घर वाला example. They are siblings, ठीक है, जैसे छोटे, the younger sibling always used to take the elder siblings things, है ना, जैसे कि मैं करती हूँ, I'm the younger one, so I always used to snatch my sister's things, ठीक है, whatever, dress हो गया, कुछ भी हो गया, ठीक है. So without her will, without her consent, I'm going to take her things, है ना. So this is what hostile takeover. Okay, where they are saying the word hostile means without the will and the intention of the management of the target company. Okay, when an acquirer company does not offer the target company the proposal to acquire its undertaking, but silently takes effort to gain control. Just a second, let me take the pen. But silently take efforts to gain control against the wishes of the existing management. Such act of acquirer are known as hostile takeover, ठीक है. Such takeover are hostile on the management and thus called hostile takeover. Hostile takeover directly made to the shareholders of the targeting company has resulted in multiple defensive strategies by the corporate from being taken over by the company. इतनी बात तो cleared है. Okay, so now I got the meaning of friendly takeover. Second, the hostile takeover. Let's go for the other, bailout takeover. When the sick company, we are talking about sick, and one first is sick company and the second one is the profit making company. When the sick company is taken over by whom? Definitely profit making company, ठीक है. So this is all about bailout takeover, ठीक है. बार बार टर्नओवर याद आ रहा है, नहीं टेक ओवर होगा, ठीक है. सो द टेकर ओवर द फाइनेंशियल सिक कंपनी बाय अ प्रॉफिट अर्निंग कंपनी टू बेल आउट द वीक company is known as bailout takeover. Okay, a bailout takeover takes place with the approval of the financial institution. So here the company, the profit making company, have to take the approval of whom? The financial institution. They have to inform them first and then the approval is to be taken from them, ठीक है, and bank. Okay, since the objective is to revive the financially weak company and bank normally have a charge on the asset of the company, ये अपने को पता है. Okay, then comes the horizontal takeover, ठीक है, when the takeover is done in the same company, ठीक है, same industry की बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. Okay, takeover of one company by another in the same industry is going to be known as the horizontal takeover, ठीक है. Then comes the vertical, when definitely पहला वाला कौन सा था, same industry की बात कर रहे थे. So this is going to be happen from takeover of one company of supplier or the customer, which is also known as backward integration or the forward integration, ठीक है. This can also be the MCQ वाला question. Vertical takeover is also known as forward integration and the backward integration. And here comes the another takeover, which is cognomerate takeover, which is actually takeover from which is done. Takeover is done in different companies. Okay, okay. Takeover of one company by another company operating in total different industry is what? The cognomerate takeover. इतनी बात मुझे समझ में आ चुकी है, मोटा मोटी बात, ठीक है. Now, applicability of the takeover code. The code is applicable on the listed company, any person controlling the listed company, any person holding substantial stake in what? Definitely the listing company. Okay, now comes the open offer obligation. Okay, once this takeover is done, the acquired company have to give some of the open offer. Either that is going to be mandatory or it's going to be voluntary, ठीक है. So two way, the open offer, once the takeover is done, what I told you, once this takeover is done, then the offer is to be made by whom? By the acquired company, definitely. Okay, plus PAC. Okay, उनको नहीं छोड़ने का. Okay, this they are saying the open offer by mandatory way. Okay, what is the meaning of this mandatory offer? ठीक है, when the acquirer with PAC person acting in concern, ठीक है, is going to acquire more than 25% of its share or the voting rights of targeting company, then it's going to be the mandatory offer. Okay, and plus first thing, इतनी बात समझ में आ गई ना, when the acquirer company along with PAC is going to acquire 25% of more than 25% of the share of or the voting rights of the targeting company, ठीक है. And first this is done, this acquiring of more than 25% of shares and voting rights, ठीक है. Then in any financial year I say, the acquirer company acquires more than 5% of the share of voting rights of the targeting company, ठीक है. Along with this, ठीक है, first this 25% of voting and all is acquired, ठीक है, it's done, ठीक है. Then again in the second thing they are saying, first condition is fulfilled, ठीक है. Then in any financial year, the acquirer company acquires more than 5%, less than या 5 equal भी नहीं बोल रहे, more than 5% of the voting right or the share of whom? Targeting company. Simple बात है. So this is what about the mandatory offer saying about, ठीक है. Then comes the voluntary offer. Okay, this is also known as creeping acquisition. Creeping acquisition फिर MCQ वाला पार्ट हो सकता है ना, हाँ जी. Okay, so yes, before going, अच्छा ठीक है, बता देती हूँ what is this voluntary offer. When the acquirer with PAC is going to acquire at least 25% or more of the voting rights or the shares, सेम चीज़ ऑफ वूम टारगेटिंग कंपनी. अच्छा, तो पहले में भी वही बात थी अबाउट व्हाट अबाउट देयर इज़ नो डिफरेंस ना. यस, द फर्स्ट कंडीशन in first condition of both the cases, mandatory offer and the targeting offer, voluntary offers, ठीक है. In both cases the very first condition is same. If there is any difference, yes there is difference, ठीक है. The difference is only in the second condition, ठीक है. Earlier there was कितना percent? More than 5% in any financial year. If the acquiring company is going to acquire more than 5% of the voting rights or the shares of the targeting company, ठीक है. But in this case a voluntary offer, even if they are going to acquire at least or even less than 5%, ठीक है, then they can go for the voluntary offer. The acquirer can go for the voluntary offer, ठीक है. So yes, this voluntary offer says acquirer with PAC acquire 25% or at least 25% or more of the share of or share of voting rights of targeting company, and in financial year they have less than 5% of the acquired, less than 5% of the voting rights and the share of the targeting company. ठीक है, but there is one thing they are saying, ठीक है, once this voluntary offer is done, the acquiring company cannot go for another acquisition. ठीक है, इतनी बात समझ में आ गई ना, they cannot go for another acquisition. Okay, I'm talking about the voluntary offer. Then even this offer ends after 6 months. Within that 6 months they cannot go for. I mean, once this offer is done, मैंने तो पहले कहा, अच्छा, firstly I said that the acquisition cannot be done during this time period. ठीक है, okay, another acquisition की बात चल रही है यहाँ पे. Okay, second they are saying even this offer ends after 6 months. ठीक है, for example this offer ends in December. ठीक है, let's add this 6 months. ठीक है, then they are saying like once this 6 month is ended, ठीक है, by the offer ended time period, they can only acquire for other shares and voting rights. ठीक है, let's go for by August. ठीक है, then they can only do it by the expiry of that 6 month from closure of the offer. इतनी बात समझ में आ गई ना? हाँ जी. So there is some more points in the mandatory offer. ठीक है, mandatory offer says one mandatory offer is done, then the public of announcement is to be made. ठीक है, public announcement for the open offer is to be made, which is saying up to 26% the acquirer company is willing to purchase the 26% of the share of the shareholders. ठीक है, basically they are simply saying the acquired company have to make a public announcement. ठीक है, कि this company, the acquired company is willing to purchase 26% share of this targeting company. This is all about this. ठीक है, इतनी बात तो मुझे समझ में आ गई है. So let's go for the minimum of open for offer size. ठीक है, the minimum open offer shall be 26% of the total share of the targeting company as the 10th working day from the closure of the tendering period. अच्छा, इतना ना, I'll tell you, इतना अभी अपन छोड़ देते हैं, we'll leave this part. Okay, because I'll tell you later, है ना, यहाँ से यहाँ तक एक बार leave this part, I'll tell you, don't worry. ठीक है, so they are saying minimum offer 26% से ज़्यादा is to be done. Okay, and in case of voluntary open offer, the post acquisition hold shall not exceed maximum permissible non-public shareholder. What about the voluntary offer? As per regulation 6 of Takeover Code, permit an acquirer who together with PAC hold at least 25% or more of the voting right in the targeting company but less than maximum permissible non-public shareholding to make public announcement of the open offer of the acquiring shares of the targeting company. A voluntary offer for at least such number of share has to be made by acquirer excising an additional 10% of the total number of share of the targeting company. And the acquirer during the voluntary offer period shall not entitle to acquire any share otherwise than the under open offer. A voluntary offer cannot be made where an acquirer or the PAC has acquired shares of the targeting company preceding 52 weeks without attracting the obligation to make an open offer. इतनी बात भी मुझे समझ में आ गई. They cannot go for any of the acquisition of share. ठीक, the acquirer and the PAC who have made the voluntary offer will not be entitled to acquire any of the targeting shares of the targeting company for a period of 6 months. Yes, after completion of open offer, except pursuant to another voluntary open offer or making competing offer upon any other person making an open offer or a bonus issue of the stock splits. So this is the exception about this case. ठीक है, where they said that they cannot go for other acquisition of share for even though the open offer was ended from that 6 month. ठीक है, for that further 6 months they cannot go for acquisition, but there is some exception. They say the pursuant to another voluntary open offer or making a competing offer upon any other person making an open offer or a bonus issue or let's say or a stock split. ठीक है, there is a note, the regulation may not be applicable to person holding less than 25% share but other procedural compliance in the price calculation will be applicable for the shareholder not less than 25%. ठीक है, this is not. ठीक है, so let me say one more thing about this, then we'll end this lecture. ठीक है, ज़्यादा लंबा नहीं लूँगी, ज़्यादा हौच पौच हो जाएगा. Okay. सो वंस दिस ओपन ऑफर इज मेड, नाउ आई नो द मीनिंग ऑफ फर्स्ट टेक ओवर, ठीक है, हाउ इज डन, ठीक है, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ PAC, व्हाट आर द टाइप्स ऑफ टेक ओवर, ठीक है. एंड नाउ वंस दिस open offer is done, some other things is to be done, ठीक है, like public announcement is to be made. So there are the time limit for that open offer, ठीक है. So once open offer is done, ठीक है, this is the last thing, ज़्यादा होच पोच नहीं करूँगी मैं, ठीक है. So by this I'll end this lecture, okay. थोड़ा सा और पढ़ लेते हैं बस तब तक के लिए, ठीक है. So once this open offer is done, then the public announcement is to be made, ठीक है. Then within the 5 days public first thing तो public announcement is made, ठीक है. Then the public announcement is made, then the detailed public statement is to be released by the acquirer company, ठीक है, within 5 days of the public announcement, ठीक है. इतनी बात समझ में आई. First public announcement is to be done, ठीक है. Then the detailed public statement is to be released, ठीक है, within the 5 days, ठीक है. Okay. Then the draft order is to be sent to whom? To SEBI. Okay. Then the SEBI is going to review it. Okay. The SEBI is going to review the draft order which is given by the acquirer company, ठीक है. And this is to be done within 5 days. Okay. कंफ्यूज नहीं होना, दोबारा आइए. फर्स्ट आई टोल्ड यू ओपन ऑफर इज मेड, देन द पब्लिक अनाउंसमेंट इज टू बी मेड. वंस दिस पब्लिक अनाउंसमेंट इज डन, ठीक है, विद इन दैट 5 days द डिटेल स्टेटमेंट, द पब्लिक स्टेटमेंट इज टू बी रिलीज्ड by the acquirer company, ठीक है. Once this part is done, the draft order is to be sent to whom? Within next 5 days, years नहीं 5 days, ठीक है. To whom? To the SEBI. इतनी बात क्लियर है? हाँ जी, ठीक है. देन द SEBI इज गोइंग टू गिव द अप्रूवल, ठीक है, इन कितना? इन 15 days, ठीक है. The day when the acquirer company have given the draft to SEBI, then from that day the SEBI is going to give the approval within कितना? Within 15 days, ठीक है. This can be the MCQ question, ठीक है, तो confuse ना होइए. So what? Once the approval is given, ठीक है, approval is given by whom? By the SEBI. Within 7 days of approval, ठीक है, the public issue is to be done, which is the public offer is to be made, ठीक है. इतनी बात समझ में आई? Let me say it again, ठीक है. फर्स्ट क्या था? ओपन ऑफर, ठीक है. देन public announcement is made, ठीक है. From this public announcement, the detailed public statement is to be released within 5 days. 5 days of the public announcement, ठीक है. Then again for further 5 days, within that further 5 days, SEBI को क्या देना है? ड्राफ्ट भेजना है, ठीक है. The approval is to review. First of all, basically that draft letter is to given to SEBI to review it, ठीक है. Then the SEBI is going to approve it within 15 days. इतना समझ में आ गया? हाँ जी. अप्रूवल इज टू बी गिवन वंस दिस 15 days के अंदर अप्रूवल इज गिवन बाय SEBI, ठीक है. विद इन 7 days ऑफ अप्रूवल ऑफ SEBI, दैट द अप्रूवल ऑफ SEBI अगेन the public issue is to be done, which is public offer, ठीक है. public offer is to be done, ठीक है. then public offer will have 10 days for offer, ठीक है. from this public offer 10 days के अंदर payment is to be done, ठीक है. the final payment is to be done. इतनी बात समझ में? होच पोच हो गया ना, कोई बात नहीं, थोड़ा सा समझते हैं बस, ठीक है. ओके. so there is one more thing they are saying, from the approval to the public offer, ठीक है, मैक्सिमम गैप शुड नॉट एक्सीड 12 days, ठीक है. एंड दैट इज गोइंग टू बी वर्किंग डेज. इतनी बात समझ में होप सो आ चुकी है, ठीक है. विल कंटिन्यू फर्दर. अब तक के लिए इतना पढ़ लो गाइज. ओके. सो होप सो दिस वॉज अ लिटिल क्लियर फॉर यू, ठीक है. वी विल रीड इट फर्दर, सो क्लैरिफिकेशन के साथ एंड विल गेट मोर थिंग्स, ठीक है. एकदम से होच पोच नहीं कर रही मैं. ओके. सो येस, होप सो अप टू दिस